Yeah. Okay, so the today's agenda is basically learning these 4 apps: neural networks, machine learning, optimization toolbox, and fuzzy logic toolbox. Okay, so these are all inbuilt applications. Inbuilt applications. So these inbuilt applications will try to utilize to solve our problem. Okay, so to solve our problem, we'll try to utilize these toolboxes. So now where those toolboxes are available, if you go to MATLAB, and in MATLAB, in the main tabs, so these are the different tabs: plot tabs and apps tabs. And under apps tab, you will get these menus. So in default, while installation, okay, so you can install the toolboxes, whatever you require. So, and you can see here machine learning toolbox, mathematical toolbox, control system toolbox. So there are, thousands of applications are available. Okay, so thousands are apps are available. That means these are all like a software. I told you what is inbuilt apps. It's like a application software. Okay, it's like a software where you give some input and you will get the output. That kind of thing. Uh, so this is what you just have to know. These are inbuilt apps. So now, if you want, if you require some app, and if you want to know whether already people have done, so you can also check that part. So if even if you might have not installed, so you can click on get more apps here. You can click on get more apps. Okay, if you click there, so it will try to point to the MATLAB repository where community as well as MathWorks. Okay, so the MathWorks have some official toolboxes. So you can search those toolboxes in this particular place. So you can search related to your area. So whatever you are working. So maybe something like power systems. So you can type anything. Say I just typed power system. Under that, there are many toolboxes and case studies and solutions. Everything's available. So you can filter out. Okay, so depending upon your requirement, whether you want Simulink or you want applications or you want library. So depending upon your requirement, you just select. So now I just selected apps. Whatever you are seeing here, all these things are basically applications. These are all additional applications. So if you feel your work, research work related to this particular application, then you can download and you can try how that particular toolbox works, and that may be useful for your research as well. Okay, so that one thing what you have to do. So when you don't find any inbuilt application here, okay, so MATLAB is trying to give some generic apps. So if you want some specific app related to your area, then click on get more apps. Okay, so that is one thing. And there are design app. I already told last class. Design app means you can develop your own application, like this inbuilt apps. You can develop your own application and you can solve that particular problem. And the next one is basically install app. So it is equal to it is same as get more apps, wherein you can download the source file and you can install in the offline. So that is basically install app, whereas get more apps is basically installed from the internet. Okay, so and the last option, you have package apps. Package apps means whatever applications you are developing in MATLAB. It may be script file, it may be Simulink, or it may be anything. So it can be apps. You developed some app. That app you can convert. Okay, you can package to standalone application, or you can package to web application, or you can package to mobile application. So all those things are possible using this option, package application. So that means it just whatever the supporting library is required, everything it will pack, and it will give you the installable application. So that you can do using package application. So now what we will do, so under this you have a lot of apps. So now what we are trying to do, we are trying to select only 4 apps here. So where you can find the machine learning app. So if you neural network app. So here you have those options. If you click here, so there is one option is available here. So that is neural network fitting and pattern recognition. All these are all basically neural network toolbox. Okay, neural network toolbox. I will demonstrate today neural network fitting. Okay, so neural network fitting. So that one particular application I'm going to demonstrate. Okay, so then I will try to demonstrate this classification learner. So hope you are seeing my screen. Classification learner, that is basically machine learning toolbox. And then I'll try to give demonstration for regression learner. So that is also machine learning toolbox for the rational values as input output data set. And then so we'll try to use this optimization toolbox. Okay, so optimization toolbox, we'll try to learn using scripting as well as using this particular tool. Whenever you are writing any application, normally you can use this application, but you have to embed this application in your workflow. That is important. So we'll try to connect this optimization toolbox, and also we'll write some scripts also. Okay, so that is what we'll try to do. And the last one is, again, you have one application, very useful application, that is called Fuzzy Logic. Fuzzy Logic Designer is there. So we'll try to understand this Fuzzy Logic Designer toolbox, how it works, and how we can use these toolbox for the research. Okay, so these four toolboxes we are trying to learn today. Okay, is this clear? So the agenda for the day.
Okay, sir.
Okay, all are okay. Anybody feels that this toolboxes are not required for you, something like that?
Sir, all these topics are very relevant and important. Only one request.
Yes,
since
sir.
we are seeing this kind of a environment and use of these toolboxes for the first time,
Yes, sir.
probably it's hard for us to redo it. For example, from the last class, when
Yes, sir.
you are explaining it, it appears to be very clear, but when we try to do ourselves, probably we may have to use some use cases or some tutorial so
Yes,
that
sir.
we can come up to the speed. That was my observation.
Yes, yes. I think just to justify only we are given only 3 sessions are there for the MATLAB, sir. Even even we could have conducted some 2-3 days workshop there. We could have given hands-on kind of thing. But my intention is to convey what all we can use in MATLAB for the research. So that I am trying to convey to the maximum extent possible. And I'll try to go slow, sir. I think will that be okay, sir?
Oh, I'm fine. In fact, what I was saying is like probably you can maintain your pace in order to cover the all the topics.
Yes, sir.
Maybe towards the end, if someone needs some additional, or if you can give us some kind of a worked example so that like some links. I'm also trying to see from the MATLAB tutorial site.
Yes, sir.
But your explanation is more precise. We are able to follow. The only
Yes, sir.
fear is like by loading a lot of topics, we may not be able to reproduce at a later point of time.
Yes, sir. Sir, one request for all. See now, see, I'm explaining something. See, it is so you can also connect with me in future. Say now, even many of in your class, sent a mail. They are discussing their problem. So in future, what we can do? So you can, if you have any problem, and if you think that MATLAB may be useful, I think specific to your work, we can connect in future. So in that way, so we can engage. So we cannot, we should not limit for these 3 sessions only. So in future also we should connect and we should work together. So that is what I feel. So then we can specifically work with your problem, and so we can learn collaboratively.
Thank you. I think that will be very helpful, and that's what I was looking. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sir, can I come in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Sir, my name is Shainu. So, sir, I feel this course will be very effective for most of the scholars. But I have one request, sir. I am very new to this MATLAB. I have one request that can you share the recorded sections? Then only we can rework on it. So that once we miss any kind of steps, if we are breaking it, so that we can refer that video and go it again. Thank you.
Sure. I'm recording, so I will share. I mean, definitely I will share this video. So I will share this video. Anyway, this is no, I'm recording.
Including the first class, sir. Including the first class.
Yes, first class. All the class videos I will give you.
Okay, sir. Thanks, sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other concerns? So shall we start now?
Sir, if the time is there, then we can go for some deep learning techniques.
Yeah, deep learning technique. Yeah, it takes time. Deep learning technique. It will take time. I think fuzzy logic itself.
Some CNN.
So yes. So if I'll try to cover in the next class. But these 4 tools itself, is it takes a lot of time. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now, see. Now, before starting this particular application, this neural network. Okay, so I just want to give some introduction. Okay, so say now, for example, you have a system. Okay, so you have a system. Hope you can see my whiteboard. So this is your system. So this can be a motor. This can be it can be some mechanical system, or it can be anything, any system. It can be water flowing in some pipe. Okay, so you have a system, and so you want to know the response of a system. Okay, you want to know the response of a system. So that is why. Okay. And what you have, so you have the input. Okay, so I'll call this input as u. You have some input u, and so you have some internal states of a system x. Okay, internal states of a system, that is x. So now what exactly we do? So now we want to understand the system. So we need to understand the system. So for that, what we do, so understanding a system is basically, you can coin this particular word called modeling, correct? So, knowing your system is nothing but modeling. So what happens in the modeling, you will be knowing that particular system, what it does, correct? So if you consider a motor, okay, so whenever you provide electrical supply, it runs. So it gives torque and speed. Okay, so that is what we understand. So at what speed it runs, what is the internal behavior, what is the external behavior, all those things we will learn. Okay, basically the modeling of that particular machine means, correct? So now in the similarly, so what exactly we do in modeling, basically we are trying to understand the equation. Okay, so mathematical equation. Okay, so mathematical equation we are trying to derive for that particular system. Okay, so that is one thing. Or you may land up in some kind of block diagram. Okay, so block diagram or graph. Okay, so graph, you may land up in graph. So there are different ways of modeling a system. Okay, so let us focus on this particular thing. So because in engineering we try to model any system as a mathematical equation. So mathematical equation is nothing but the system. Okay, so if you know the mathematical equation of a system, that means I mean we understood that particular system. So for any given input, we can get the output. Okay, so there is some problem here. Okay, so there is some problem here. So it is very difficult to find the equation for all the system. So now say for example, if I want to derive a equation for some some tools or some robot. Okay, so a lot of things you have to consider, and there will be n number of inputs. Okay, and you try to get the output, m number of outputs, and you will land up in some complex equation. So whatever we get that complex equation, somewhere some kind of assumption we do. Okay, so that's why it is very difficult to make a mathematical equation for a system. So definitely, if you see the past, and if you see the literature, so most of the systems are modeled. Okay, so most of the systems are modeled. Say there are ways called system identification method. So there are different ways are there to get the equation for a system. So now, say there are some systems are there. There are some systems are there which is completely non-linear. Now it's kind of black box. We cannot understand. Okay, so that kind of system. So what we do that in that particular system. So now here two kind of things where, so mathematical equation. Okay, so you will get an equation. Okay, you have a equation and you have a input. So this is one thing. So to know the output. So if you know these things, and you can get the output. Okay, so you know the input and maybe states also. You know the input and you know the states, and you can get the output. So this is one method. Okay, so equation is very trivial definition of the system. And the second one is basically you don't have an equation. It's kind of a black box. Then what you will do? So normally you will construct data. Okay, you will construct a data. What data? So you will have input and output data. So you will try to experimentally create, or logically you will generate. So this particular data set you will generate. So input output relation. So this data set you will generate. Using this, you will try to create a equation. Okay, you will try to create this particular equation. So and then what you will do? So for this particular equation, for any other input. Okay, so for any other input, so if u is given, okay, and you will get y. Okay, so this is the flow what we use. Okay, so whenever whenever you will you won't whenever it is difficult to make a mathematical equation. So now you see here. So this part is basically is basically whenever you have a data and you are trying to get the system behavior. Okay, so so this neural network toolbox or machine learning, okay, or deep learning. Okay, so all these toolboxes, whatever learning methods are there, so that methods basically uses this kind of data set. It uses the data set. So you have to give the past data. You have to give this past data. Okay, and you have to train that particular model, and you have to get the equation or model. Okay, so in this space, it is called as a model of a system. Okay, machine learning model. Okay, so that means you are getting the the system definition itself. Okay, so now what we do? So we get the past data. This past data we will use, and we will train the neural network or machine learning, or in machine learning both. Okay, classification learner and regression learner. We give this input data, and we'll train, and we create this particular model. Okay, so this is what we do. So I mean, this one you have to understand. Say for example, you are doing research, then you should first question what you have to ask, whether for that particular system mathematical equations are there. If mathematical equations are there, you no need to use these learning methods, because if you have a mathematical equation that is accurate, okay, and that will give faster response. Okay, whereas this learning system will have some disadvantage, like the accuracy cannot be 100%, and it is a data dependent. Okay, so data set dependent. So that is the problem with this particular learning system. Okay, so now that means in some cases, if the system is completely non-linear, you are unable to get the equation of a system, then definitely this is the solution. So why this machine learning and deep learning and neural network is evolving nowadays, because it is very easy to get the definition of a system using the data. Okay, so that's why this method is popular, and most of the people are using nowadays. Most of the people are using. Okay, so to define their methodology or their process using machine learning. So you name anything, machine learning, deep learning and neural network, this may be useful. Okay, so this may be useful. So that is the point where you have to use in your research. So you just have to if you have some data, input output, some correlated data, then you feed that particular data to these toolboxes and it will provide output. Okay, so hope you understand, because see, getting equation means, I told you, it is a differential equation. Okay, differential equation, n number of differential equation, and order is n. Okay, now we know, right? So first order we can solve differential equation. Second order, it's hard. Third order differential equation, it's very difficult to solve. Okay, so that's why we go for some numerical methods. Okay, so some kind of numerical methods we do. Okay, so that's why this mathematical model is very difficult. So now this is the easiest and very good method to define your system, whatever. Okay, so whatever problem you have, you can solve that particular problem using this technique. Okay, so that is the point where you can use this particular neural network, machine learning, and deep learning toolboxes. And even I just I'm in favor of this creating that equation. Okay, so I'm not in favor of this one. There are a lot of disadvantages are there, but if you are a scientist, you have to define a system equation. Okay, so whatever you are doing, so that is really challenging. But if you can't, then you can go ahead with this particular system. And also you should understand it's a so if you consider a population, okay, in statistics you may study, if you consider a population, in that population you can simply you have to take some sample. Okay, that sample and other sample, who knows, there may be some, there may not be any correlation. So in that case, it may be wrong. Okay, so it may be wrong. So that's why it is a data dependent. Okay, data set dependent. And those are the disadvantage. Okay, so just try to adopt. And so in that direction, I'll try to give the demonstration. So we'll try to learn these neural network, machine learning, and deep learning together. Fine. So now you should be very clear when you have to take neural network and machine learning, these two techniques. Okay, so shall we go for some simple demonstration of this particular toolboxes? Any questions? If any questions on this theory part? Any questions? Any sort of question? Okay, no questions? Am I audible to all? So whatever.
Yes, sir. So far, no, it's clear.
Okay, shall we go for demonstrations of this toolbox, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so first I will take up neural network. Okay, so in neural network, so and as I explained, okay, so you will have the X, or I'll call that as U and Y. Okay, so it can be a vector. Okay, so you have a vector U and Y. So this U and Y is basically your data set. Okay, so this data set you are going to train. Okay, so train and then create a neural network model, or neural network model. Okay, so train and create a model, create model. So I told you what is model. Model is basically your system itself. Okay, so that means if you have a data set, you can create a system, and for any other input, you can validate. Okay, you can if you have any other input. Okay, so you can get the output for that particular input. So that is the steps what we use in neural network. So I am not going to give the complete theory of this neural network. Instead, I'll try to focus on the toolbox. Okay, so now neural network toolbox. Okay, so for this particular problem, say let me consider a simple problem. Okay, simple problem. I think since I am electrical, faculty, so I think we'll take some one example, so all of you know this MCB, right, in your home. Okay, MCB. So can anybody tell me what that MCB does? Anybody can?
It's a minute or miniature circuit breaker.
Yes, sir.
Whenever there is the current is exceeding the design load.
Yes.
It breaks the circuit. Actually, it trips.
It trips the circuit, correct? So that's the very simple logic, correct? So now the thing is, what is the mathematics behind that? So now, if the simple solution is normally when you have current is flowing in a circuit. Okay, so if say for example, I'll just write here. So if 0 amps current is flowing, so here input is basically current value. So current value, and output is basically whether it is trips or not. Okay, so that is what I am considering. Say now, so this is the data, and if 0 amp current is flowing, what is your what should be the response? Trip or no trip?
No response.
No trip. So 0.
Status quo.
Yeah. So 1 amps.
Same.
Okay, 0, no trip, and 2 amps, I'll just tell you. So it's again no trip. Maybe after some time, whenever it reaches 5 amps, what should it should do? If it is a 5
also
amps.
It will be 0. It will be anything above 5.
Anything above 5, it should trip. So now even I'll consider 5 amps MCB. So 5 amps, okay. Whenever 5 amps comes, it should trip, correct? 6 amps, again for 6 amps also, it should trip. Now whatever it continues, whatever the current comes after that, it should trip. So this is the data for the MCB. Okay, correct? This is the data for the MCB. So now even I can construct this particular data. So in MATLAB. So now is this clear? Is this particular data is clear for MCB? So I just constructed input and output data set. So input is basically current, output is basically trip value. So if you see this particular data, we can understand. So now this particular system, so this input output I have. Say I don't have, say I just want to check what happens if the current is 1.25. Okay, so if the current is 1.25, what it should do? So whenever whatever model I create, that model, if I feed this 1.25 as an input, then it should give me 0. So that is how it should respond. And if I provide something like 50 amps, okay, so if I ask what happens if the current is 50 amps, then it should say trip. Okay, so this is what I'm hypothetically expecting, and this is the data. Okay, so I told you, so you see here how simple it is to create data. Okay, so you can for any system you are working. Okay, so you can open your Excel sheet and you can make some relational data, and you can create this kind of data for your problem. It will be very easy. Okay, try that one and try to create that data set. So you can do experiment, and you can for different values of input, just see the output of that particular black box and note down. So that is also one method. Sensor values taking and populating, that is also one method. And also generating the data. Okay, so that is also one method. Logically generating the data is also one method. Okay, there are various methods to generate that particular data set. Now I have this particular data set. Let me create this data set in the Excel. Say for example, what I'm doing. This is how I'll create the data set. So basically, I can extract from the Excel. Okay, so even let me keep that values in the Excel, and I'll try to extract to the MATLAB. So this is basically Excel sheet. So now here I have U, okay, and then I have so each of U is fine, right? So or I'll put it like a current only, okay. So current and trip signal, okay. So now say for example 0 amps, okay, 1 amps, so 2 amps, like this. So it will go on. Say maybe I'll just create a 10 or 10 amp switch, 10 amps MCB. Okay, so 10 amps MCB. So 10 values will be 0, trip signal should be 0. And after that, if it is 11 amps, okay, so 11 amps onwards, whatever current I'll get. So let me take some 100 values. Okay, sorry, I just have to increment. Okay, so I just have to increment. So some 100 values, you know, whatever value. So all those values, it should be. Yeah, it's. I just have to select. So I just created some kind of data set. So then here the trip signal is 1. Okay, so this data, it looks like some 2-column data, but for me it is a MCB. Okay, what MCB? 10 amps MCB. So this 10 amps MCB data I have. So now I think I know my model. I know now. So if the data is some kind of completely random or heuristic, then there the problem comes. So now after seeing this data, I am understanding. But normally you can't understand the data, the pattern you can't recognize. So this this neural network has to identify that particular pattern. Okay, so data is there now. So totally I have 100 records now. Okay, so 100 records and I'll try to create one folder in so I'll just give this data as MCB. Okay, MCB 10, MCB 10. So I just save this particular data. Okay, so now this data is there. Okay, very small data I have considered. Now, so then what I have to do? So the data is there. Now I'll try to write a data. I'll just try to create a data. So for that, I'll try to take one script. Okay, so maybe script is also fine. So now what I'll do, CLC clear screen. Okay, clear all to clear all the memory. So now here the code will start. So now there is one command in MATLAB. Okay, so even if you type help XLS read, so this is the command is used to read the Excel data. Okay, so they will give some syntax how to read the Excel values. Okay, so some syntax are there. You can use Excel read to read the data. So now say for example, I'll use this particular syntax and I'll just try to go to that particular directory. So where is that directory? I'll just try to go to the desktop where one directory I created. I'll just point to this place. And then what I'll do, so I'll just use this particular syntax. So what is the syntax? Excel read.
Sir, from where you got this routine or subroutine or function?
Yeah, this function is basically inbuilt. It is, say, for example, if you type help XLS read, so this is the function name. So this is the function name. So if you just type this help XLS read, then you will get the help related to that particular function. So how to use that function, what that function does, and all those things. So that is what we are seeing here. So now what is my problem here? I need to take this Excel data. So this Excel sheet I have. So in this particular Excel sheet, whatever data I have, I need to take that values to the MATLAB, correct? So that I have to do first. This data I have to train, and I have to create a model in the neural network.
So understanding the different fields, everything is taken care by this routine.
Yes, understanding different field will be taken care by the neural network.
Okay.
Yeah. So now
So minimum we need to give a title like what you have given.
Yes. So now we have to give the range from where we have to extract the data. Say now
Okay.
I'm just giving you, say here my data. So the data set, say I'm just giving the variable name as data set is equal to XLS read. What is that Excel name? Excel name is MCB 10 XLX. Okay, so I need to read the first sheet. So from which value to which value? A to 2. Okay, so B101. A to 2. B101. So in this particular range, I need to take the data and I have to show that particular value to a MATLAB variable called dataset. So this is to extract the data from the Excel. Let me run this code. Let me show you what happens. So I'm just giving this name for this particular file as data set generation. Okay, so data set generation is my file name, and I just executed. I executed this particular program. Now you can see here in the workspace. In the workspace, you got that particular data. In the workspace, if you see this here, so that data came here. So that 100 values, it came here. Now, if you double click on that, and you will see that entire data came into the MATLAB. So it came to the MATLAB. So this data came here. So now the next step is what I just want to give. What is U? U is basically input. Input is basically data set first column. The first column is basically input, and Y value is basically the data set second column. So this is the syntax used to extract one column in the matrix. If you want to extract any one column in the matrix, so this syntax you have to use. First column and second column, and you basically input, or even you can use this as some kind of current. And here I'll use this Y as strip signal. So now data is done. So I extracted the data and I copied to the MATLAB, and then I just splitted that particular data set into input and output. So those things I did here. So this is basically clear memory. Whatever memory content is there, so it will erase. So it is just a clear screen. This particular command will be useful to clear the screen. And this one is used to extract data from Excel sheet. So this is the command, so you can use. And this is basically, you can split. Okay, you can split the data and column wise. Okay, column wise, and you can store it in some variable. So current and trip is the two input output variables. So is this part is clear?
Yes, sir.
Shall I now? After this, okay. So if you run this code, then what happens in the workspace? If you observe the workspace, so in this particular workspace, two variable will come. One is current value. Okay, that 100 value will come, one column only, input, and trip signal is the output. That is also one column because you are separated. Okay, so using this command. Okay, so now the data is ready. Now we'll go for the first toolbox. You see, now you just count the time. Okay, within 10 minutes you can do this work once the data is ready. Now this is what I'll do. So neural network data set is ready. Second part, I need to train. Okay, I need to train that particular data. So now you see here, I'll just go to apps, and in that app, I will try to take network fitting toolbox. So this is very important. You just have to remember this. Inside app, if you go to this inside app, there is one tool called network fitting. So if you click on that particular application, you will see this one, network fitting toolbox. Network fitting toolbox. This is basically inbuilt application. You see, now just count time, how much time it is required. Just click on next, done, and then select input. What is input? Current values, and target. What is the output? Output is basically trip signal. Okay, so then done. So click on next. Say now here, one thing what you have to understand in all this training system. So whatever data set you provide, in that particular data set, only some percentage will be used for training, and in the same data set, okay, random data. Okay, so random records will be used for the validation and testing. Okay, so for validation and testing, some other data in the same data set will be used, and validation data and testing data will not be given when the training is happening. Only 70% of the value records or content will be given for training. So this one you have to remember whenever you are working on the neural network, machine learning, or any training toolboxes. So always they'll say how much percentage you trained. So in your data, so normally 70, 30, 90, 10%. So this kind of combination people will go 80, 20. So this one you have to understand. Okay. So now in this particular case, I'm using 70% for the training and another 30% for validation and testing. And that means what happens, it will train using 70%. Then after that, accuracy of the system and error of the system, everything will be calculated by giving this particular test value. You understood? So that is how it defines the parameter for that particular system. What is the accuracy of the system? So now it will train, but how we know the accuracy of the system? By this test records. So now this is the thing you just have to know. Okay. So now,
sir, one question.
Yes, sir.
If we want to use 100% of the data set for training,
yes, sir,
and use the next data set for validation and testing.
Now the thing is, I already told you. Now what you're trying to see, this is the entire your data sample. Say this is one sample space.
Correct.
And this may be another sample space. Now always what they will do in the same sample space, 70% and 30% they will use for the training and validation. So we cannot use this 100% in one sample and another 100% in some other sample. The reason why we don't do this, because the behavior of this input output may be too far from the behavior of other data set. So in that case,
okay,
we are just creating some inaccurate system.
Okay. For example, I agree. The first part, for example, the top left part is a good way to start. When I go to the next data set, I want to improve the learning part more than the validation part. For example, maybe I'm trying to explain a little differently. I want to train all the 4 subsets. Let us start with 70-30. When I go to the next top right, can I increase the learning part to 80 and 20?
Yeah, so there something called recursive learning. So recursive learning means, for example, it's already trained 70%, 30%, you're getting good system. Then what you can do, the same system you can retrain. So in the retraining, we can reduce the testing percentage, sir.
Okay, okay. That was my question.
Yeah, retrain is normally everybody does. Okay, so so at the beginning, we just no, even if you give 50-50, that would be good. Why? Because we are trying to see whether the data is good to use in this machine learning or neural network toolboxes.
Okay, it's clear.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so now this is what we have done. So we are selected, and we clicked on next, and this number of neurons is basically if the neurons are less, okay, so only one neuron will train. So it's basically some some coefficient. So if you have more neurons, so the it will learn more, and but it will take a lot of time, and the complexity of system is more. So I'm just taking the number of neurons as 10 only in neural network. Okay, and here at this particular point, okay, so I just click on this particular train button. So then you see training is done, because you see my data is very less. So now here hardly 100 records. That too data, if you see, very simple data. So that's why it is trained very fast. So if you consider some thousands, lakhs of record, then it will take a lot of time. Even in my research, to train that particular data, almost it took 1 day. One night I just gave it. So that kind of data, if you have, then it will take a lot of time. So here it is taking less. And now here you see, so here it is calculating. You can see samples are there, and it is trying to learn, and you can see the the fitness graph. Sorry, it is trying to create a regression. So this regression graph says that, so whether the input target value and output values are matching. You can see it is completely linear. So that means it is saying that it is understanding. Okay, so the system is accurate. Okay, almost 100% accuracy. So accuracy is there. Okay, so it understood that system, it knows. Then after this, you just click on next. Now here, what you can do, you can click on next. Now at this, but this is the important part in MATLAB. In after this steps, after giving data and after training, you can export. You can export your model, trained model. Okay, that means your system. You can export your system as a function or as a Simulink block. Okay, so you can export in either way. So you can export as a MATLAB function, or you can export as a Simulink. Okay, so now for the better understanding, now what I'll do, I'll try to export as a Simulink diagram first. I clicked on the Simulink block. Okay, yes, I simply clicked on Simulink block. Then what is happening in the backend? So whatever trained model, for that particular trained model, the Simulink block, the new Simulink block, it is creating, okay, which is not there inside a default Simulink library. So it is creating new Simulink block. Okay, so that is what is happening, and you can see in this particular place that model is created. So this is basically that model. So here, if you see, so this model is basically the neural network model. So it is created. So actually it has to take the input output. My system got hanged a bit, this MATLAB. I just clicked on MATLAB function. So whenever I clicked on this MATLAB function, what happens? So it will create a function. Okay, so it will create a function. So now what I'm doing here, I'm just renaming that as MCB100 function. Okay, MCB100 function. So the function name also should be same. So MCB10 function. So I just given that name. So it is created one function now. Now here you see, so if you want to use this particular function, so what you have to do, you just have to call that particular function. So now say for example, this is the system. That function itself is a system now. So now what I'll do, so if I want to check, if I want to test, now the model is created. What is that model? So that system is basically that function what we have exported from that particular neural network. Now here you see, so I'll just, okay, so clear all. Then now you see this function I have, so I need to pass some input and I should get output. So what is output? Output as always the trip a trip signal, and input what you will provide? Input you will provide the current value. So whatever current value you provide as a input, so it will give the trip signal as a response. Now we know this data is basically say 10 amps, for 11 amps it will trip. Okay, so for 11 amps it will trip. Say let me give 4 amps. Okay, so let me give 4 amps as a current and let me run this program. So I am just writing this as check program 1. Okay, so I just ran that particular program. So I just created a function and I ran that particular program. So I just have to run this program. Now can you see here? So it is empty. Current is 4. And for 4 amps, it is written empty. Yeah, sorry, row wise. Yeah, I think data I have to generate. Yeah, now this is fine. So now just a second, I'll just replace that particular function. Okay, so existing one, yeah, whatever it may be. So MCB 11 function. 11 function. So I'll just save that particular file MCB11 function. And then for what is my check function, MCB11 function. So this 4 lines we have to write. So we have to write, so trip 1. Okay, so can you see here? It is providing the output. So for 4 amps, it is saying minus 0.00574. Say if I give something like, 8 amps. Okay, so if I run, it is giving 0.2. Say if I give something like, 12 amps. Okay, now see 0.8. And if I give somewhere around 50. Okay, so 50. And if I run, so it is giving 1. Okay, so now what I did, I created a model and I tested using this using this particular code. So now what you have to do in the neural network, you just have to provide the input output data. Okay, input output data you have to provide, and then you have to sorry, I just clear this particular data. I should not, because the data, let it be here. So data have created. So current and trip signal data have created. So then I just train that particular data using neural network toolbox by selecting input and the output data. And then you just have to click on train. After that it will train, and then click on next, and then you will land up here, and you have to click on MATLAB function, and this MATLAB function will produce one function, MATLAB function. So that function is basically your system. So that function is basically your system. I just saved that particular function as MCB 11 function. So then I'm just calling that particular function for the variable, okay, for any other random current value. So when I check this particular program, and it is providing me the output, providing me the correct output. And if you see here, the thing is, if I provide a 10, value 10, can you see what is the output? Output is 0.75. Can anybody tell me why I am getting trip signal as 0.5770? And for 50 amps, it was giving, okay, 1 amps.
So 50 amps is like very far from the switchover value of 11.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's 100% sure. It's 1 means like 100%, if I'm right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the other value, I'm not clear. You gave a value of 10.
Yes.
10 is almost very close to 11. I don't know why it should give only 57% or 0.57.
Trip signal is binary, 0 or 1, whether I had to trip or not, but it is giving 0.5.
If I run again, will it give the same value for 10?
Yes, almost somewhere near to that only. If I run the
Can you run that?
Yeah, it is
Okay.
giving 0.75 only. Now,
Sorry.
Yeah.
The decimal reads as 0.5770.
So it's a trip signal, right? So we are expecting either 0 or 1.
Okay, okay.
Switch on or off.
So anything other than 1 is it's 0, correct?
0,
It's a binary.
so that we have to assume like that.
Okay. Suppose if I give 1 amp.
1
That's
amp.
also,
Let us give 1 amps. Then if I give 1 amps, it is giving 0.0044. No, yeah. So this is the point where I have to tell you something. Where see somewhere near to the 10 amps, the 11 amps is the MCB. 10 amps near to that. So we don't have too many values near to that 11 amps.
Correct.
So if I have more values, the learning will be good. So here I have only 100 records. What it will learn? So it won't learn properly. So using this very small data. So if I give more data near to that 11 and 12, then that means it will understood. Okay, I have to give near to 0 only. Correct? So all of you understood?
No, sir, there is like only 2 parts of the data. Only for the first 10 items will be it's off. Then the rest, any amount of current, it will be on.
Yes, yes. So now we are seeing and we are telling that logic. So we are humans. So after seeing this data, and we know that system should be like that. But when the neural network trained, but it is not trained the way in which the human mind is trained. Correct? There is a deviation. So that deviation we have to understand here. See, for 1 amps, it is giving 0.0044, something like that. For 10 amps, it is giving 0.5, which is not at all binary value, but 50 amps, it is giving 1. So that means whenever you are in your research, if you are thinking to use this learning toolboxes, your data set should be huge. Then you will get a good system. So if your data is too less, then you won't get an accurate model, and your results is not appreciable result. So that one point you just have to remember here. And second point, what we have to understand here, so this is better, this neural network is better than the practicals. I'll tell you how. Normally, if you consider practical MCB, okay, so if the current value is too close to 11 amps or 11.111, 11.001 amps, it should not trip, it should not trip. So, but if you keep equation as a logic, then it will trip. So that means neural network machine learning is better, compared to the mathematical model, correct? So in that way, this neural network, is useful. So it is, this particular problem it will overcome. Okay, so this the logic used by these tools are better compared to the equations. Okay, but you have to provide lot of data you have to provide, and then this is very simple data. It's just a step curve. But you just imagine when you have completely nonlinear curve, how the data will give, correct? So in that way, so this is one simple MCB I prepared. Similarly, I can prepare all MCBs as neural network, all energy meter as a neural network. So I mean, all say building as a neural network. So you can, for any system you have, any process you have, you can create a neural network for that using this kind of method. Is this convincing for you? You understood what exactly I did?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anybody, any questions?
One question, it is the reverse of the exercise what we are doing. Is there any modules available here to generate using some random function
Yes.
to create the points in between the steps?
So we need to create a function to create a value in between. Yeah, of course we can. I mean, we can give this 10.1 also, right?
Now, that means what it will do, it will
It will
take
do.
the step values only again.
Yes, yes. Interpolation and extrapolation and beyond the range, everything is possible using this neural network.
Okay. Because in Excel it will not do, but here it assumes in between values, and interpolation or extrapolation is taken care automatically.
Automatically, the neural network will take care.
Okay. Okay.
So that is why we do now. So normally prediction algorithm we are preparing our forecasting things. So definitely we have to give any interpolation and extrapolation should be possible. Fine, right? So shall I go next part? Similarly, what you can do, you can export as a Simulink model. I told you. So if you export as a Simulink model, so your model will look like this. Okay, very simple. Now you no need to worry about this particular function. Okay, so it will provide input output thing. Say now what you can do. So you can delete this input and output. So and you can put one constant block. Okay, so you can put one constant block and display block just to see the behavior of a system. So I just added those two things. Say so Simulink now. It is a drag and drop and make connections. Okay, so entire model you just implement using the components available in Simulink. Now it's known. Say for example, now I'll just give you it's say for example 60 amps, 60.5. Okay, current is 60.5 amps, and my I know my system. So it's basically it should trip after 11 amps. So now the output should be 1. So I should get 1 as an output. Let us see. The Simulink is running, and you can see the output is 0.9956. So that means it's a 1. So that means it understood. So similarly, even if you give something like 3.5. Okay, so for 3.5, I know what is the output. Output should be 1, but I know that. But what the machine neural network is giving 0.1. Okay, I told you why it is 0.1. So normally you have to give huge data to understand the pattern. Using this limited data, it is not understanding the pattern. Okay, so now using neural network tool, you can create a model, Simulink model or a model as a function for your problem. So this is MCB. Like that, you can create anything. Is that convincing? Okay. Any
Yes, sir.
questions from the crowd? Please, all of you kindly respond. So hope we understood this particular part, correct? So we are done neural network. We have created a model. Okay, so we understood the pros and cons of that particular neural network. Okay, so let us go with this machine learning. Okay, so machine learning is basically almost similar to neural network. Okay, almost similar to neural network. So in neural network, what happens? Say in simple terms, I'll tell you the theory. I'm not going to work here. In neural network, okay, so it just calculates the coefficients. Okay, so the coefficients of the input and output dependence. Okay, so it just to find out if you have u1, u2, u3. And what is neural network? Neural network maybe finding p1, p2, p3. So find p1, p2, p3. If you find, then that is the definition of your system. So that is what neural network does. It just finds the weights of different neurons. So that is what neural network does. But in machine learning, so what happens if you have a vector space? Okay, so you have a vector space. I'm just writing 2D or 3-dimensional vector space where you have n number of n number of dimensions. In that, all your input and output. Okay, so you can mark it as one point in that particular vector space. Like that, your input and output combination can be some kind of some points in that particular vector space. I'm just giving you the 3-dimensional space, but you just imagine this one in the n dimensional vector space. So it will your input output data each record is a single point in that particular vector space. So similarly, it will just mark. And what there will be n number of points will be there. So every input output record is 1 point. Like that, all the record you can represent in the vector space as a single point. So and what this machine learning does, machine learning try to create a cluster. Okay, try to create a cluster from this particular data. Okay, so it will try to create a cluster. So it will try to create a cluster of data. And so basically for any given input, and it will, if any input is given, it will try to go to that particular cluster and try to provide the corresponding value as an output. So this is what basically happens in the machine learning. Okay, so so is that clear what I'm trying to convey? So in n-dimensional vector space, input output data is marked as a point, and so you are creating some clusters. Okay, n number of clusters. So you are for any given input, it knows which cluster that particular data set belongs to. So then return that as a behavior of that particular system.
Sir, I have one request.
Yes, sir.
Currently, we are using values as a input, and
Yes,
we derive the logic, and output is also value.
Yes, sir.
What if we have several conditional logical inputs? Like,
yes. So that
how
is
that
what
will
we
behave?
Yes, we are precisely we are going to do that particular part now. So machine learning, and in machine learning we have two part. One is classification learner and regression learner. So this is classification learner, and this one is a regression learner. So now I'll tell you the difference between classification learner and regression learner. In classification learner, so you can have the categorical variable. So that categorical variable means, say for example, here I have a 0 and 1. What happens if your data has male, female, or good, bad? So your data may have string also. So in that particular, those kind of data is called as categorical variable, or string variable, or it can be ordinal variable, some kind of nominal variable. It is other than ratio. So if you have that kind of data, so you have to use this classification learner. So when you have to go for say for example, if you have something like that, okay, so person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5. Okay, so now you see here, I'm just write one simple example. Male, male, okay, male, say another one is female. Okay, so female, maybe here I'll just write weight. Okay, so weight, and weight, maybe I'll just write 70, 75, okay, 69, okay, 50, 45, something like that. Now I think if you see this particular data, so this data has the categorical variable as well as the ratio variable, or the rational number, correct? So if you have this kind of data, then you have to go for classification learner. So the classification learner in machine learning, so you can also have any nominal value, ordinal value, that is called as categorical variable. If you have categorical variable in your data, then you can go for classification learner and you can train that particular data. So that's precisely what I'm going to demonstrate now. Okay. So if you have a record like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, instead of this string value, you should not have. In a regression learner, you must have the rational values. So only you should have, 70, 75, 69, 50, 45. But you can have n number of, output, input. Input, output can be n. Say, for example, next one, this can be weight, this can be person number, and, this can be height. Height maybe, say I'll write 6, 5.9. Okay, so 5.8. So this can be, 4.9. Okay, so 5.2, something like this. If you see this particular data, so if you have this kind of data where all the data is basically rational number, then you have to go for regression learner. Is this explanation clear? When you have to go for classification model and when you have to go for regression model. So this is very important. Whenever you are doing any machine learning, okay, so you can say machine learning, but you have to tell which part you are using, whether you are using regression learner or whether you are using classification learner. So that you have to know. So if you want to use classification learner, your data should be like this. Okay, so if you have all the rational values, then you can use a regression learner. Is that clear?
I'm not able to differentiate both. For me, both looks same for me.
Okay, so now what is now I can ask some questions like, if the weight is say 73, who that person could be? Is that person male or female? If I ask that question, so machine learning system should give the answer to me, right? So my question is, if the weight of the person is say 73, whether it is a male or female. If I ask that kind of queries, then what is the answer?
So that's clear, but the example what you are given,
Yes,
is there another example you can give for regression learner? Classification learner is clear. For me, the second example also appears to me like a classification learner.
very, very simple. String. Do we have string in the second part?
Okay.
Here we have a string. Here we don't. We have a string. Very simple.
Okay. Got it.
Yes, that's
That's
very
why you
simple.
call it as
Yeah. So in that way, we can choose which one we have to use. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So fine. Now what I'll do. So at this particular point, I'll just take up the next example. What is that? Again, I'll create one more directory, say ML demo, something like that. So ML demo, I'll just, take the same Excel sheet. I'll just paste it. Okay, so I'll just, close this Excel sheet. Now I'll just start, this machine classification learner. Okay, so I'll try to, demonstrate classification learner. So now I'm just beginning from, I'm just closing all the things. Okay, so now what I have to do, I just have to do machine learning program. So now what I will do, so I will just open that folder. And here you see, now if I show, now I'll just show you. Say this strip signal, say I'll just put something like, off. Say on only. Okay, so this is on. So from here to here, it is, I'll just say on. So this one is basically, I'll just put it off. So now which one I had to use? So if you see this particular pattern, what is your understanding? So as per our discussion, so which one I had to use for this particular data? So can anybody tell me what I have to use for this data? Is my screen visible?
Classification?
Yes, correct. So we have to go for classification because one of the column in the data is a string or a categorical variable. So I'm go for classification learner. Okay. So now how to do that work? Just it takes only 2 minutes to demonstrate. I'll just open classification learner. There is one application is there. Classification, click on the classification learner. One application
Sir,
will open.
can you show the whiteboard again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm just opening the classification learner. So this is how the classification learner look like. Now what I'll do, I'll choose that particular data file. So my data file is basically MCB that 10 Excel sheet. So I selected that Excel sheet data, and then it is trying to showcase that particular Excel sheet in this tab. And then I'll authenticate that particular Excel sheet. Okay, import it. Then the data came. At this particular part, we have to tell what is predictors and response. Okay, so response is basically the output. Response is basically the output. Okay, and the input, predictors are basically the what you have to give as a input. So now here I'm trying to give current as a input, and I'll get output as strip signal. Okay, so you can do the inverse also. Okay, so you can whatever the you can you can get the current value from the trip signal. So that is also possible, but logically here I should get the trip signal from the current value. So that is what I selected. You can see here it is selected as a categorical variable, and then I'll just start my session. So now here the data is imported. Now you see here in MATLAB, you can see here, okay, there are n number of algorithms are available. Okay, algorithms are available in machine learning. Okay, classification learner. So you have a decision trees, you have discriminant analysis, you have NB classifier, you have SVM methods, you have, NNC classifier, your ensemble classifiers, you have n number of, classification algorithms are available. So that is the beauty. Now what I'll do for your benefit, I'll just select it all. So execute all the machine learning algorithms and tell me which one is best for this particular data. I'll just try to run this algorithm. For whatever data I just taken, I'm trying to run the machine learning, all the machine learning algorithms, and I'll see the accuracy of my data. Okay, accuracy of the system which is created by the data set whatever I fed. Okay, so it is creating parallel pool because it's a machine learning. It has to do the training work, and it is starting parallel processing in the backend in the MATLAB. Okay, so it will take 2 seconds, and the parallel processing it will start, and then this machine learning algorithm will start running. Okay, now you can see here the process started. So all are in queue now, and since the data is very less, okay, and the training started for all the algorithms. Even I can stop at any time. Okay, now we can see many algorithm is giving 99, 94 accuracy. So okay, some algorithms are giving 100% also. Okay, some quadratic discriminant machine learning algorithm is given 100% also. KNN algorithm, okay, boosted trees. So now in here you can see here some algorithms like KNN method 100% accuracy. So that means it can give good output. Okay, 100% accurate system. So whichever returns good accuracy, you can select that particular system. And so model is already created. You can export this particular model. So in machine learning, okay, we have provided the data and we trained, and it is providing us the accuracy, and we can export this particular model. Okay, whatever trained model we can export, and we can use that particular model as our system. So that is ready. So now you can see here what I'll do here before starting. So you can also see the pattern. Okay, so you can also see the pattern, and you can see the confusion matrix in machine learning. So these are some performance parameters. So how to know whether the model what you trained is is good. So some ROC curve, okay, region of convergence and confusion matrix are the two normal parameter, performance checking parameters. Say confusion matrix. In confusion matrix, it has to be diagonal. Okay, so all elements should be in a diagonal. So now you see here, out of 89, if I say off, okay, so then it will say off. Okay, 89, the element are such element. And if you say on, 11 items are saying on. On, off, on, that combination is not there. So that means that is 0, 0. So this is completely diagonal. So that means 100%. If you see the KNN other methods, there will be some off diagonal element. That means accuracy of that particular machine learning model is not good. Okay, so whenever you have off diagonal element, so that means you are trying to get something, you are getting some other thing. Okay, so that is the indication of the off diagonal element. So in 100% accurate model, you won't get any off diagonal element. So this is one indicator where you can check whether your system is good or not good. Okay. So ROC, it has to be a complete step curve. Okay, it has to be perfect step curve. Okay, so positive, okay, should be 0 for the false positive rate. Okay, so if the true positive rate is 0, then false positive rate also should be 0. So that is the step curve what you should get. So confusion is matrix is the good indicator. Okay, so now I know I just have to export. Now you see, you just click on this export button. Okay, and you can generate a function. So now you can see here you are creating a function. So now say this is basically your machine learning program. Say I'm just giving that as MCB 10 ML model, something like this. So you can provide like this, and you can save. Okay, so you can save that one as the same name, and that provides your machine learning model. Okay, so even you can export that as a compact model. Using this compact model, you can call this model, and see, I'm just giving some name. This is MCP 11 only, 11 ML model. So this is a compact model. So I am just exporting this. So now you can call this. You can now what you can do. It came to my workspace. I just click on this particular save this particular model in your workspace. So I just save that particular model. So this mat file is basically the model of my system. Okay, so this mat model of my system. So how to how to predict the values. So now that means if I give value as say 10 amps, then it should say say 5 amps, then it should say on. Okay, if I say 15, then it should say off. Okay, so that is what I am expecting. So to the program for that, I'll just try to give you. So I'll just try to give that particular program. So 2 seconds, I'll just search the code. Okay. So there, we have to call that particular one function. A simple 2-3 lines code. Using that code you can test. So now what I'll do, so I have a model now. Using that particular model, I just want to test my system. So now this is the program, simple 2-3 lines code. What we have to write. So you can try to read this particular program. Okay, so this is the 3 lines code what we have to write. Okay, so now here now what I'll do, I'll just I don't yeah, okay, so I'll just copy and I'll paste, and I'll rename that file as test data. I just have to give. Okay, so this I'm just prefixing that with test. So inside the test, what I'll do, so I can delete the trip signal. So no problem. So that is not required, and you can provide your test data here. So what current you want to test, that particular or predict. So you can provide, say for example, say I'll give 5, okay, 15, 55. So 3 values I'll provide. Let's see what output it will provide. Okay, it will give. So 5, 15. So what is my expectation? On, off, off. On, off is the expected outcome. So let me run this program. And what is the test data? The test data is MCB 10 test. So this is the Excel sheet from where I need to take the test data and I have to run. Okay, so check ML program. So this the script name. Let me run this program. So it is taking that sample input. It is taking the sample input, and the machine learning model, it is loading, and then it is predicting the values of current which is there in the Excel sheet, and it is predicting the values. Can you see here? It is providing the output as on, off, off. Okay, so now that means I created a machine learning model. So this is the classification model for my problem. Is that clear, all of you? So any questions on this? I know, see, the perception is very important. See, I executed a simple program for MCB. Now the thing is, in the same direction you have to think. So okay, some classification model and this regression model is there using that. So whatever you problem you have, so you just see whether this kind of output you are expecting in your hypothesis. So that is what you have to perceive. Okay, so in this particular session. So any questions on this? So this model is working now. This machine learning model is working. So if I change any other input, say 1, 2, 3, okay, 1 amps, 2 amps, 3 amps, or you can say 1.2 amps, okay, 2.4 amps, or 4.3 amps, whatever. Okay, interpolated values. If I run that particular values, now you can see on, on, on. So on, on, on. So because current is less, correct? So only these 3 lines of code will do the do your work. Okay, what we have done, we have just imported the data to machine learning algorithm, and we just ran that particular program for using some machine learning algorithms, and we exported that particular model, and then we utilized that particular model in our program, and we predicted the values. So this is the very simple steps we have executed. In fact, if you know this steps, within 5 minutes you can create any classification or machine learning model for your problem. So in that phase, you can work in this toolbox. So that is that simple way they have developed this particular application. So any questions in this particular topic? So any questions in this particular topic?
I think it is clear. Probably from these 2 examples, how to do
Yes, sir.
the cluster what you shown in the board. For example, if we are taking 1,000 samples, like all of them are unique. For example, the name of the person, their height, weight. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So maybe if you can do another example in the next class where we are taking the real-time data.
Yes, sir.
Then how? Because here everything is directly linked, like because of the MCP problem.
Yes, yes.
Probably, for example, the RQSA op, okay?
Yeah.
That takes so many real-time values, but somebody has put an algorithm or an engine. It clearly says that it takes multiple parameters. That's what I'm saying. Today we are talking about 2 or 3.
Correct. See, now this one you can extend. So even COVID data is there. So COVID data. So somewhere I have a demonstration. I don't know where I kept that particular demonstration. So even we can train the COVID data also. So COVID data also. So this program is there. This program is written to train the COVID data. So even if you see the COVID data pattern. So this is basically the COVID data pattern. The columns, if you observe the columns, whatever this Excel sheet is providing, can you see the data here? So one is country code and continent, location, date, total number of cases, new cases. Okay, so here heterogeneous data we have. So machine learning is the best tool to apply for this particular data and to seek any information from this particular data. So that is very much possible from this particular machine learning program. So trivial now, what the thing I made, I taken only 2-dimensional space, but I can take any other variable also, any other n number of columns and rows I can take. So any complex data, if you have, then we can take. I think next class I can demonstrate this COVID data, and we can train this one and let us give some queries to that and get the response. Maybe understanding the third wave. This may be possible using machine learning. So here, your question is then how it is identified the cluster is basically I told you. So whatever the data I have, so for the lesser current, it's somewhere all the points, whatever the points I given, it is coming like this. And for the higher current value, okay, all those points are coming like this. So trip and no trip. So this may be 0 and this may be 1. So for all this basically what it is creating 2 clusters here. So now whatever current value I give here, so all it is telling that it is no trip. Okay, so whatever values it is coming in this range, it is telling no trip. So it's just 2 clusters in two-dimensional space. Or a COVID data is basically n-dimensional column dimensional space, and each point is basically it is clustering. That is basically machine learning. So I can demonstrate one problem like that, multiple columns, and I think that may help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I have done with this machine learning. Okay. So I think probably I exceeded 10 minutes, but I just wanted another 20 minutes to explain regression learner. So shall we take up this topics in the next class, or shall I continue for another 10-20 minutes?
So next class, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next class, sir.
Next class. Okay.
Next
okay.
class.
Okay. So fine. So I think next class, we shall continue. So just try to think where you can use in your research. Mostly, even if you are civil or even if you are architecture or any stream, so try to use this particular machine learning, algorithms and methodologies. So definitely, you will come up with some novel, things. So normally that is what I do in electrical. I'll try to apply these techniques, everywhere. Okay, so I'm getting wonderful results. So I think you can also try. Okay, so then you can bring some revolution in your space. So that is what I'll request. So just try to work on this. I'll share this video, and hopefully next class, we'll try to cover some more apps. And then I just have to speak on Xylab and Octave. Then we'll go for LaTeX. Okay. So if any questions are there, then I'll take some questions.